Hello YouTube, I just thought I'd document a few of my Privet bonsai in training. This first one, training up as a twin trunk. As you can see, started off, managed to pull this out of the ground. It's got some really interesting roots. Unfortunately it's just in an old plant saucer with some holes drilled in the bottom for the time being. It's given it some room to stretch its roots out somewhat. Privet as bonsai, it's interesting to work with, though it takes quite a long time to get any thickness in the branches. It tends to throw out lots and lots of very fine twigs, but not always in the places that you want them. It's also quite easy to make it look like topiary if you're not careful. I hope I'm avoiding that trap at the moment. I'll just move in and show you a few of the branches from above. What I'm aiming for is the look of a branch rather than some sort of topiary sculpture. I'm looking at a relatively oval, roundish sort of canopy. I don't envisage it getting any taller. One of the other problems with Privet is that the scars seem to take an awful long time to heal. But maybe that's just me. It also doesn't take fantastically well to wiring. Once the branches get to any significant thickness, they're very brittle and tend to snap rather than bend. So you need to get them early. Moving along, I've got this raft style, which again I fell in love with the root structure when I discovered it. Not entirely happy with the trunks all being a similar shape, apart from the one on the end which suddenly decided it was going to grow out dead straight. Bit odd, but again I'm working on the branching structure at the moment. I'll take you around the back of both of these. Sorry, shaky camera work. Most of the work on these two trees have been done in the last 2 years. I did plant quite a few privet when my children were little with the idea of doing some sort of topiary sculpture with them, but it was just a 5-minute whim. Didn't last like my love of bonsai has, so they just got left. I've got quite a number else in the garden which may come up this autumn. Moving back round, this that's what the trunk suggested to me initially, and it's just a question of trying to get some main branch structure in place at the moment. But again, I'm getting lots of twiggy growth, very thin, very fine growth. It needs to get very long before it gets any thickness, so it's just a question of growing it out and cutting back the branches that I don't want, and trying to encourage the ones that I do to thicken up. You also tend to get, I'm moving a bit closer, a lot of new growth coming from the crotches of branches, which can lead you with some thick knuckles if you're not careful and don't keep removing them quickly enough. Finally, there's this big old monster. It did have another trunk which I took off and carved away. Done quite a bit of carving. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I enjoy doing it. I've selected a new leader, which hasn't grown quite as well as I would have liked. I've wired it in place now while it's still relatively thin, and also a few of the branches, but it's very early days on this one. But overall, I'm quite happy with its progress. One last Privet bonsai. Again, it's another stump from down the bottom there, which pulled up. Didn't have a huge amount of root on it, but they're tough as old boots. And basically, again, I'm just did a bit of carving on it, carved away some of the dead wood and some of the live, and I'm just starting to grow out some branches. I'm trying to grow a new top branch. Haven't had much joy with that. and I've got a nasty bit of reverse taper just there. That may have to come off, but I do have round the back, just growing out of the crops there, another new shoot which may become the new leader. As I said in the other video, they take an awful long time to grow any thickness though, so I think this will just be a question of letting it grow and grow and grow while I concentrate on the branching. Thank you.